Have you ever wondered why some of God's greatest servants spend years in silence, in obscurity, in places where nobody can see their potential being fulfilled? Why does God sometimes hide his chosen ones in plain sight, making the world think they are ordinary while he is actually preparing them for extraordinary authority? This is the divine paradox of life. The very seasons we despise, the times when we feel forgotten, overlooked, and unseen are often the exact moments God is strategically positioning us for greatness. Many are in the rush of life, trying to climb ladders of influence, chasing fame, recognition, or immediate results. But the kingdom of God operates differently. It is in the secret place of obedience, in the hidden chambers of preparation, that God molds, shapes, and equips his chosen for a level of authority the world cannot give. Think about Joseph, thrown into a pit, sold into slavery, forgotten in prison, yet God's strategy was in motion. Think about David, the shepherd boy, hiding from King Saul, waiting in the wilderness. Every moment of obscurity was a strategic seclusion designed to prepare them for their divine appointment. And let me tell you this, God's timing is never early, never late. It is perfect. So, I ask you again, are you willing to trust the silence, embrace the waiting, and let God's strategic seclusion shape you into an authority that will shake your generation? Because the world often measures success by what is visible, but God measures by what is being made invisible. And tonight, I'm about to take you on a journey that will reveal the secrets of rising from obscurity to undeniable authority, the kind that cannot be stolen, the kind that cannot be replicated. By the end of this message, you will begin to see your current season of waiting not as a curse, but as a divine laboratory where God is fashioning your destiny. But here's the question that will change everything. Are you ready to stop running from your season of obscurity and start walking into the authority God has reserved for you? Stay with me, because what I'm about to share will challenge everything you thought about waiting, preparation, and God's timing. Have you ever felt like no one sees you, like your life is passing in the shadows while the world celebrates others? Maybe you've been overlooked at work, ignored in your family, or dismissed by those who should have believed in you. Let me tell you something powerful. God's obscurity is never purposeless. Those moments when you feel unseen, unheard, and undervalued are not signs of rejection. They are signs of preparation. There is a divine purpose in every season of invisibility, and it is in these hidden places that God molds you into the kind of person who will wield authority that cannot be challenged. Obscurity teaches a language that the crowds cannot understand. It teaches patience when the world expects instant results. It builds character in ways applause never could. When Joseph was thrown into a pit and sold into slavery, the world saw a young man discarded. The world saw a life wasted, but God saw potential unfolding in the shadows. Those moments alone, unnoticed, were shaping him into a man who would eventually stand before Pharaoh, not as a servant, but as a savior of nations. Your current hidden season could very well be your Joseph moment, the time when God is fashioning your destiny out of what looks like disappointment. Obscurity protects you. Sometimes God hides his chosen ones from the wrong eyes, from premature promotion, from people or situations that could derail the divine process. There is a wisdom in waiting in the shadows, for the world often confuses visibility with readiness. The longer you remain unseen, the more your strength, wisdom, and understanding are deepened. Hidden seasons are God's secret laboratories where your faith is purified, your vision clarified, and your character strengthened. In these moments, you are learning endurance, humility, and unwavering trust, qualities that authority demands but which popularity cannot teach. Moreover, obscurity reveals the true posture of your heart. It strips away pretense, showing God and you who you really are when no one is watching. It is easy to be faithful when people cheer you on, but the hidden years test your loyalty, your integrity, and your commitment to God's call. The seed of greatness is planted in the soil of obscurity. If you learn to embrace these seasons, to walk faithfully without recognition, then when your time comes, the authority you step into will be authentic, unshakable, and divinely sanctioned. Many stumble because they cannot endure obscurity. They chase fame, recognition, and immediate results, not realizing that God is orchestrating something far greater than the applause of men. The world may measure your worth by what it sees, but God measures by what He is shaping in the unseen chambers of your life. The question is not whether the world sees you. The question is whether God is using your hidden season to prepare you for a level of influence the world has never imagined. So, if you are in a place of invisibility today, know this. You are not forgotten. You're being fashioned. Every trial, every delay, every moment of silence is a part of God's divine strategy. Obscurity is the workshop where He is chiseling away weakness, polishing your purpose, and equipping you for authority that will shake your generation. But here is the truth that will change everything. There is a fine line between a season that prepares you and a season that traps you, and understanding the difference will determine whether you rise or remain hidden forever. And this brings us to the question you must answer. Are you ready to discern the secret of the hidden years so that obscurity becomes your ladder, not your prison? Because what comes next will reveal the exact way God uses seclusion to transform hidden potential into undeniable authority. Have you ever noticed how some of the greatest leaders, prophets, and servants of God spent long periods completely alone before they stepped into their purpose? Think about Moses, 40 years in the desert away from the people he was destined to lead. Think about Jesus himself, 40 days in the wilderness before beginning his public ministry. God is a master strategist, and He often places His chosen ones in the laboratory of seclusion, where the noise of the world is silenced, distractions are removed, and the raw work of preparation begins. Seclusion is not punishment. It is divine engineering. When God removes you from the crowd, He is giving you space to develop a clarity of vision that fame, noise, and constant attention could never allow. In this hidden laboratory, your mind, your spirit, and your character are refined, habits are corrected, priorities are aligned, and weaknesses are transformed into strengths. While the world is chasing visibility, God is working invisibly to equip you with the tools, insight, and authority required for your next level. This laboratory tests more than your patience. It tests your heart. It's in isolation that your faith is measured. Will you continue to trust God when no one applauds your progress? Will you remain obedient when no one is watching? Will you develop discipline in prayer, study, and preparation when the reward is invisible? The laboratory of seclusion forces you to confront your weaknesses and face yourself without masks or pretenses. It's where humility is cultivated, where persistence becomes instinct, and where your spiritual muscles are strengthened for the battles ahead. God's seclusion is also a place of revelation. Away from the pressures of people's expectations, your spiritual insight deepens. You begin to hear God's voice more clearly because the distractions of approval, judgment, and comparison are removed. In this place, God teaches strategy, discernment, and wisdom. He shows you things about your purpose, your potential, and your path that could never be revealed in the public eye. Every moment in this hidden season is designed to sharpen you, to focus you, and to prepare you for the authority that awaits when God calls you forth. Many stumble in seclusion because they mistake it for abandonment. They grow restless, they lose hope, and they begin to act out of impatience. But the truth is, the laboratory of seclusion is not indefinite. It is precisely timed. It is the sacred space where God moves silently, arranging circumstances, testing character, and molding leadership. It is a divine waiting room where preparation and patience meet destiny. And when you finally emerge, you will not only possess authority, you will possess wisdom, strategy, and confidence that only time in God's laboratory can produce. But here is the tension. Some never leave the laboratory prepared. They enter the world prematurely, untested, unready, and their authority collapses under pressure. Understanding how to navigate seclusion How to submit fully, embrace the process, and allow God to work determines whether your hidden season becomes your platform or your prison. And so I ask you, are you willing to trust God's laboratory? Are you willing to let the silence, the isolation, and the preparation shape you into someone who cannot be shaken even when the world doubts you? Because what comes next will uncover the tests that precede promotion, the divine challenges that determine whether your seclusion truly produces unstoppable authority. Have you ever wondered why some people, even after years of preparation, never rise to the level of authority God intended for them? The reason is simple. God tests before he promotes. Every season of seclusion, every moment of obscurity, and every trial you face is not a punishment. It is a divine evaluation. The tests you encounter are God's way of examining your faith, your obedience, and your readiness to handle the weight of responsibility that comes with authority. Authority without testing is like a seed planted in shallow soil. It may sprout temporarily, but will wither when pressure comes. Testing is often uncomfortable, sometimes even painful. It exposes your weaknesses, reveals your fears, and challenges your patience. Joseph was tested repeatedly, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. Yet in every test, he remained faithful. In every trial, he maintained integrity. His faith was not superficial. It was forged in the fires of difficulty, and that testing prepared him to handle the authority that would one day save nations. Your tests are not coincidences. They are calibrations carefully designed by God to strengthen your character and prepare you for influence beyond your imagination. The beauty of testing is that it also exposes hidden potential. Trials bring out qualities in you that you didn't even know existed. When adversity pushes you to your limits, you discover patience, resilience, wisdom, and creativity that can only be developed under pressure. Those who avoid testing avoid growth. Those who despise trials often remain stuck in mediocrity. But those who embrace the testing process will emerge not just prepared, but transformed. They will carry authority that is seasoned, authentic, and capable of impacting lives at a level that shortcuts and easy roads can never achieve. Testing also teaches humility. Authority that comes without trial is often abused, but authority that is earned through testing understands responsibility. The test teaches you how to manage power without pride, influence without arrogance, and success without compromise. God is more concerned with who you are becoming in the hidden seasons than with what you achieve in public. If he can trust you with small challenges, he can entrust you with kingdoms. If he can refine your heart in private, he can reveal you in public. But here is where many stumble. They fail to recognize that testing is a necessary bridge between preparation and promotion. Some grow impatient, trying to leap ahead before God's timing, only to stumble under pressure. Others lose faith, thinking the delay means rejection, when in fact it is divine protection. Testing ensures that when promotion comes, it will be sustainable, unshakable, and eternal. It is the gatekeeper of authority. Those who pass emerge ready to lead. Those who fail remain in the shadows until they learn the lessons they need. So I ask you today, how are you handling your tests? Are you complaining and resisting? Or are you embracing them as God's secret instrument to prepare you for the throne he has promised? Because the next step is crucial, for it is not enough to endure testing. You must also recognize how God aligns his timing with your readiness and how every challenge is connected to the exact moment he will unveil your authority. And this is the mystery that will change everything. The way you respond to testing determines whether your promotion will be temporary or permanent, shallow or monumental. In the next message, we will uncover the secret of divine timing versus human impatience and how understanding this principle will allow you to walk confidently from testing into unstoppable authority. Have you ever wondered why some people, even after years of preparation, never rise to the level of authority God intended for them? The reason is simple. God tests before he promotes. Every season of seclusion, every moment of obscurity, and every trial you face is not a punishment. It is a divine evaluation. The tests you encounter are God's way of examining your faith, your obedience, and your readiness to handle the weight of responsibility that comes with authority. Authority without testing is like a seed planted in shallow soil. It may sprout temporarily, but will wither when pressure comes. Testing is often uncomfortable, sometimes even painful. It exposes your weaknesses, reveals your fears, and challenges your patience. Joseph was tested repeatedly, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. Yet in every test, he remained faithful. In every trial, he maintained integrity. His faith was not superficial. It was forged in the fires of difficulty. And that testing prepared him to handle the authority that would one day save nations. Your tests are not coincidences. They are calibrations, carefully designed by God to strengthen your character and prepare you for influence beyond your imagination. The beauty of testing is that it also exposes hidden potential. Trials bring out qualities in you that you didn't even know existed. When adversity pushes you to your limits, you discover patience, resilience, wisdom, and creativity that can only be developed under pressure. Those who avoid testing avoid growth. Those who despise trials often remain stuck in mediocrity. But those who embrace the testing process will emerge not just prepared but transformed. They will carry authority that is seasoned, authentic, and capable of impacting lives at a level that shortcuts and easy roads can never achieve. Testing also teaches humility. Authority that comes without trial is often abused, but authority that is earned through testing understands responsibility. The test teaches you how to manage power without pride, influence without arrogance, and success without compromise. God is more concerned with who you are becoming in the hidden seasons than with what you achieve in public. If he can trust you with small challenges, he can entrust you with kingdoms. If he can refine your heart in private, he can reveal you in public. But here is where many stumble. They fail to recognize that testing is a necessary bridge between preparation and promotion. Some grow impatient, trying to leap ahead before God's timing, only to stumble under pressure. Others lose faith, thinking the delay means rejection, when in fact it is divine protection. Testing ensures that when promotion comes, it will be sustainable, unshakable, and eternal. It is the gatekeeper of authority. Those who pass emerge ready to lead. Those who fail remain in the shadows until they learn the lessons they need. So I ask you today, how are you handling your tests? Are you complaining and resisting, or are you embracing them as God's secret instrument to prepare you for the throne he has promised? Because the next step is crucial, for it is not enough to endure testing. You must also recognize how God aligns his timing with your readiness, and how every challenge is connected to the exact moment he will unveil your authority. And this is the mystery that will change everything. The way you respond to testing determines whether your promotion will be temporary or permanent, shallow or monumental. In the next message, we will uncover the secret of divine timing versus human impatience, and how understanding this principle will allow you to walk confidently from testing into unstoppable authority. Have you ever felt ready for something, prayed for it, worked for it, and yet it still hasn't come? You may feel frustrated, wondering why others seem to be moving ahead while you remain in the waiting room of life. Let me tell you this, the issue is not your lack of preparation, your talent, or your faith. The issue is timing. God's timing is perfect, and human impatience often sabotages the divine process. Understanding the difference between divine timing and human timing is one of the greatest keys to walking from obscurity into authority. The Bible is full of examples where God's timing seemed slow but was always perfect. Abraham waited decades for the promise of Isaac. Joseph spent years in prison before Pharaoh's palace. Even Jesus spent 30 years in Nazareth before stepping into ministry. Notice the pattern. God does not rush his plans, and he does not operate on the schedule of men. Divine timing is deliberate, intentional, and strategic. It ensures that when God's plan unfolds, it will accomplish more than you could have imagined. Every delay is not denial. Every pause is part of God's strategy to align your readiness with your destiny. Human impatience, however, often distorts purpose. When we grow restless, we begin to force things, chase shortcuts, and step ahead of God's plan. This is why so many fall into traps, make costly mistakes, or experience fleeting success. Impatience leads to decisions that compromise character, integrity, and long-term impact. God is far more concerned with your maturity and alignment than with immediate results. True authority cannot be rushed because God's authority always carries weight, wisdom, and timing that commands respect and produces lasting results. Divine timing also brings people, resources, and opportunities together in perfect alignment. There is a reason Joseph had to wait in prison until the famine arose, and there is a reason David had to hide from Saul before becoming king. If the timing had been off, the opportunity could have been wasted, misused, or corrupted. God's timing ensures that promotion coincides with readiness, that opportunity meets preparation, and that your season of obscurity ends exactly when it should, in a way that maximizes influence and impact. The challenge is that waiting is uncomfortable. It tests your faith, refines your patience, and stretches your trust in God. But those who can embrace divine timing will discover a secret principle. The longer the wait, the greater the authority. The longer the preparation, the stronger the impact. The longer the silence, the louder the announcement. Patience is not passive. It is active trust in God's invisible hand at work behind the scenes. So today, the question is simple. Are you willing to trust God's timing when it doesn't match your calendar, your expectations, or your desires? Are you willing to resist the temptation to rush, to force, or to compromise, knowing that every delay is a setup for supernatural influence? Because the next key principle is where the real transformation begins, the connection between obedience in hidden seasons and the authority you will eventually walk into. You have walked with me through the journey of obscurity, seclusion, testing, timing, and obedience. Now comes the most exciting part, the transition from being hidden to stepping into authority. This is the moment every hidden season has been preparing you for. This is where the invisible work of God becomes visible, where the quiet discipline of preparation meets the public declaration of destiny. But understand this, the transition is not random. It is deliberate. God's unveiling happens at the exact moment when preparation, character, and timing align perfectly. The transition begins when you recognize that authority is not granted because the world notices you. It is revealed because God trusts you. All the waiting, all the testing, all the obedience in the shadows were designed to produce a person who can handle influence without being consumed by it. When Joseph stepped from prison into Pharaoh's palace, he did not demand respect. He commanded it because he had been forged in character, humility, and wisdom. Authority that is earned through preparation is unshakable because it is grounded in God's purpose, not human applause. Your transition is also marked by the alignment of opportunity and readiness. God does not promote before you are ready. He does not expose his chosen to responsibility. They cannot carry every hidden skill you have developed, every lesson learned in isolation, every prayer and act of faithfulness converges at this precise moment. Your past seasons of obscurity are suddenly revealed as the foundation of your influence. What the world saw as delay, God has been using as divine preparation. The challenges, the silence, the waiting, they were never wasted. They were the very instruments shaping you for impact. The beauty of this transition is that it is not only about personal elevation. It is about empowerment to serve, influence, and transform. Authority in God's kingdom is always connected to purpose. It is not just power to lead, but power to bless, to heal, to guide, and to fulfill God's plan in your generation. When you rise from obscurity, it is not for your recognition, it is for the expansion of His kingdom. Every step you take in this new season carries significance beyond yourself. The people, the circumstances, and the assignments you are about to encounter have been waiting for the authority God has been preparing in you. Yet, the transition is delicate. It requires wisdom, humility, and continued reliance on God. Just because you are stepping into visibility does not mean the process is complete. The real test is whether you can maintain faithfulness and integrity when the world is watching. Authority without wisdom is dangerous, influence without purpose is fleeting, and success without God is empty. But if you continue to walk in obedience, trust, and humility, your rise from obscurity will not only fulfill your destiny, it will inspire generations to come. And here is the ultimate truth. The journey from obscurity to authority is a divine masterpiece. Every hidden moment, every trial, every act of obedience was a brushstroke in God's plan, preparing you for a life of influence that cannot be stolen, diminished, or ignored. You are stepping into a season where your name, your purpose, and your destiny converge in a way that leaves the world in awe and brings glory to God. So I challenge you today, embrace your transition fully, walk boldly, lead faithfully, and trust that God's preparation has equipped you for a level of authority far beyond what you can imagine. Your season of obscurity is over. Your season of impact has begun. Step into it with courage, for the authority God has been crafting in you is unstoppable, undeniable, and eternal. Now, my beloved, let us pause and reflect on what we have journeyed through together. You have walked through the shadows of obscurity, the silent chambers of seclusion, the refining fires of testing, the perfect precision of God's timing, and the obedience that prepares the heart for authority. Every step of that journey has a purpose. And tonight, you are standing at the edge of revelation. You are no longer the same person who entered into the hidden seasons. You are someone who has been fashioned, equipped, and positioned by God Himself. The truth is this: God does not waste seasons. Every delay, every trial, every moment of waiting was a divine investment in your future. The world may have overlooked you. Others may have doubted you. You may have even questioned yourself, but God has been working invisibly, orchestrating your rise. What seemed like insignificance was actually preparation. What seemed like silence was actually strategy. And what seemed like delay was actually divine timing. Tonight, you must understand this. Your authority is coming. It is not dependent on luck, chance, or the recognition of men. It is rooted in God's perfect plan, forged through obedience, refined through trials, and revealed in His timing. The authority you have been waiting for is not just a title or position. It is influence, impact, and legacy. It is the power to shape your generation, to bless your community, and to fulfill the purpose God placed in your heart before the foundations of the world. So rise from your waiting. Step boldly into the place God has prepared for you. Walk with confidence, not arrogance. Lead with humility, not pride. Serve with passion, not for applause. The world may have seen you as hidden, but God has always seen your potential. The invisible years are over. The season of impact is now. And as you step into your authority, remember this: every shadow you walked through, every test you endured, every moment of obedience has led you to this very point. Your rise is unstoppable. Your influence is undeniable. Your destiny is secure. You came seeking answers, and God has revealed the path. You came seeking hope, and God has illuminated your journey. You came seeking purpose, and now you are ready to step into authority that cannot be shaken. The question is, will you step boldly into what God has prepared? Because your season has arrived.